It's time for the Bookie and the Bettors Show. If you're a sports fan, now it's time to play the odds and make every bet count. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service. Now introducing Rob Kowalski, the Bookie, and Randy White, the Bettor.
Welcome to our show. It is the Bookie and Better podcast or YouTube show, depending on where you're watching us. Thanks so much again for joining us. I'm your host, Robert Kowalski, here in beautiful downtown Reno, joined once again by my colleagues, best friends, Nick Schulte,
hey,
Randy White.
Wait a minute, I got a question. Is
Please.
the NFL, while we're going to get talking, is the NFL now changing everything? Is it the NFL presented by Taylor Swift in 2024? Is that what is? I'm just curious.
Way too early for this shit.
Huh? Okay.
I am not ready for Taylor Swift right now.
The NFL presented by Taylor Swift. She's taking over, so.
You think of like a double header, a game, and then the concert?
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to happen.
For one ticket?
I understand that the schedule was actually altered to make sure that she can appear at Kansas City Chiefs games.
Unbelievable.
That's real power.
I can't even believe it.
That's the definition of real power, Randy White.
So it will be. It will be.
I just go back to look at how much value the Chiefs gained when she started coming.
Yeah,
to
the
games.
Chiefs, the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, a whole slew of fans that they never had before came in. So might not be a bad thing, but don't tinker with stuff just to make it work, kind of a thing.
But the paparazzi now, right? All of the Chiefs are upset about the paparazzi.
That's a them problem,
Obviously,
by the way.
Obviously Kelsey's upset. He's moving.
That's a him problem as well.
But I mean, I want to find the lady. If you can find another Taylor Swift out there, call me. Because we need to take over. We can take over.
If you haven't figured out by now, this episode is, in fact, a celebration of this year's NFL schedule release.
Presented by Taylor Swift.
No, it's not. Unless she's paying for this table.
I got you.
So what I'd like to do is actually take a look. We were, of course, at the Book of Baldini's. I've already broken down week one. And, of course, we've already had our NFL season win totals. So based off of the season win totals that we've already had up versus the schedule that's already been released, we can already come up with a strength of schedule. So if we take a look at the easiest schedules for 2024 based strictly off of season win totals as a metric, that's really look, there's no real true empirical way to say this is the easiest or this is the hardest schedule. But if we just go off of the season win totals and then play it out across the entire season, we could kind of figure out what their point spreads are going to be. The teams with the easiest schedules in 2024 from 5 down to 1. The Saints, the Jets, the Bears, the Chargers, and the easiest schedule belongs to the Atlanta Falcons. Hardest schedules, well, Minnesota, shocker, number 5. Number 4 is Baltimore. 3 is Cleveland. Number 2, the New England Patriots. Talk about a tough start already. They're already up against it, and they have one of the worst schedules out there. But the worst schedule, hardest schedule in terms of the season win total versus point spreads that we're going to post, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So plenty to chew on already off of that. But gentlemen, what I'd like to do is start up a brand new wonderful exchange between the both of you, where week 1 of the NFL, I've already put up odds on. Yes, it's May, and yes, there are point spreads on these games. What I'd like to do is have an exchange, Randy, between yourself and Nick, between yourself. I'm going to call out the game. You let me know what you think the point spread should land on.
Well, and the great thing is, we can pick any day of the week now because NFL's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right?
That's absolutely correct. Actually, week 1 does begin on Thursday, September 5th. Baltimore's going to be at Kansas City. There's a Friday game. Yes, a true Friday game.
What time is kickoff on this Friday?
To be determined on all of these, by the way. Green Bay and Philly on Friday, September 6th.
Nobody
Sunday.
wants to watch that game anyway.
Well, maybe.
Packers fans.
Maybe everyone's going to watch it, but... of course, Sunday, has got the full schedule. And then on Monday, just one game, the Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. Why don't we go right from the very top?
Well, Rob, I have one more question for you. So with the games, and I know we're going to talk about each one, but now with the NFL starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, basically you have your traditional Sunday, Monday games. it's going to help some of these teams with those extra 2 days off, 3 days going into the following week. So I think when you start talking about strength of schedule and the power of these teams, it's going to help a lot of teams to even out the playing field, if you will, that following week by getting those extra couple days.
Everything, of course. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you're an NFL player, really the only thing you're looking at in a schedule is
how much rest.
How much rest am I getting? Where am I going to be? Yeah, without a doubt. And so obviously, prime time actually is another thing that I was looking at. Who is on prime time more than anybody else? There's 3 teams with 6 games on prime time. Your San Francisco 49ers, Nick. Your Dallas Cowboys, Randy Wyke. And the New York Jets.
Now,
not my New York Jets, by the way.
Now, obviously, they're looking at Dallas as the America's team. The Jets are getting all this prime time because of Aaron Rodgers, who may play one game, 2 games.
Absolutely. Wait till he gets hurt in the first quarter again.
Turn out the lights, party's over.
I've become numb to it already.
Just tune it out.
Game number 1, Nick. The Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City. What line would you make the Chiefs and Ravens here?
Ravens -2.5.
Randy Wyke, what line would you make?
I'd have the Chiefs -1.
Okay.
It's a home game.
Fair enough. If anyone would have said 3, I would have cringed because that would have been an avalanche of money on Baltimore. But it does make sense. I think that they're probably as even a matchup as you can get. Great way to start off the NFL season. Probably account Kansas City as 2 points, maybe 2.5 on their turf. So you guys nailed it.
Well, and again, now the Ravens have a running back. This changes the whole perspective when you look at this Ravens team. Now, granted, they're going on the road, so you got to give an edge to the Chiefs. But Ravens now might have a little passing, a little running going.
That's why I have them both literally right up against each other. Back to back. So give Arrowhead 2 points, 2.5. I think you guys nailed the number right there pretty perfectly. Let's see how you guys do on a neutral field in Sao Paulo, Brazil. This game
for the season
Friday.
Opener?
Absolutely. This is part of the international series, so that not only are there going to be games in Europe, but Sao Paulo, Brazil gets a NFL regular season game.
Isn't it like a 16-hour flight?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about some jet lag. Jesus.
They'll have to get there way in advance of that game to get ready for this one. Something tells me that the altitude might also be a little bit of a problem there. So, Randy, I'll have you start off here. Eagles and the Packers on the neutral field of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Corinthians Arena, I think, is what it's called.
I'm telling you, watch out for the Packers this year. And, I wasn't a Jordan Love fan. This team picked up some great guys in the draft. They got some picked up some players on the waivers. I really believe the Eagles are going to do a Patsy Cline this year and fall to pieces.
Great.
So I like the Packers in this one with an upset. I think the Packers can win by 5 or 6 in this game.
You're saying by 5 or 6, but you're saying in an upset, so you have Philadelphia the favorite?
Yeah.
Like if you had to set a line right now, that's what this exchange is about.
I mean, you would still have to think Philadelphia as a 2 to 3 point favorite.
100%, yeah.
Nick as well?
I do like the Packers in this game, but I think the line coming out is going to be Philly plus 2.5. Or I'm sorry, Philly minus 2.5.
It's actually already shrinking. So, Randy, if you want to go ahead and get the value there, as you call it in the upset, Eagles as a really tiny 1 point favorite. Talk about a real evening of the competition there. Jordan Love really turned a bunch of no-name wide receivers into regular household names in the last, 6 weeks or so of the regular season.
And this is going to be a breaking out year for Romeo Doubs, too, so watch out.
Local kid from Reno. Next up, let's go right on over to, again, no times here, but based on the rotation numbers, Jacksonville at Miami. The Dolphins hosting Jacksonville. Nick, you've got this one first. What line do you make here?
Make that one a pick 'em, but I do like Jacksonville in that one.
Okay. Randy.
I wouldn't bet on Jacksonville anymore. I think that team there's something wrong going on in there. I don't know what it is. I would have the Dolphins by 5 in this one.
Now that is called an exchange. That is fantastic. 5, and you called pick. Now, that's a beautiful, beautiful middle if I ever saw one. Currently, the line, those of you following at home, Dolphins 3.5. It literally landed right in between the both of you. Excellent job, gentlemen. This is exactly what I was hoping to find.
Doesn't Tyreek have like a kid's birthday that weekend or something?
Yes, he does, and he's going to skip it.
He's going to skip the birthday for the game.
Yes. He could pick up 200 yards of receiving.
Did you hear him and his wife are expecting their first child this year? He had 5 kids last year. First kid with his wife this year.
Well, we better check with Taylor Swift to make sure that's all right, if he's going to be able to bypass the kid's birthday. Because this, again, the NFL presented by Taylor Swift, we should probably find out.
I deny all claims to exactly what you just said there. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. The Falcons hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, we talk about from the top of the show, we talked about the strength of schedule and how Pittsburgh has the worst and Atlanta the best. And here they are matched up in week number 1. The Falcons hosts to the Steelers. Randy, what's your spread here?
I think, and again, you talk about teams that had a great draft and have really had some great offseason pickups. The Falcons could be tough. With those wide receivers they got with Pitts and those guys. I'm telling you what, this could be, and I really, the running back from Texas that they got, the real deal.
Bijan Robinson, right?
Bijan Robinson. I like the Falcons here by 4.
Nick?
I was going to go Pittsburgh -3.
That is a 7-point middle, Nick. You are the greatest. We went with 2.5 for Atlanta, 2.5. So clearly you have yourself a nice position on the money line for Pittsburgh here. Hey, it's week 1, right? By the way, if you haven't seen it, social media, the NFL teams' social medias are really, really stepping it up. If you haven't seen the Atlanta Falcons schedule release post on wherever you find their social media, it's brilliant. I guess back in the day there was a game called NFL Street, which is basically like an NFL scrimmage, like on hardtop
on pavement.
Yeah, and it's fun. The graphics are great. Well, they actually reanimated it, and in the effort of actually doing a schedule release, so whoever they're playing that week, they'll show week 1 it's Pittsburgh, and it's these icons actually playing against each other. I thought it was really, really clever. Kirk Cousins, he's going to either really earn his paycheck or it's going to be one of the worst signings of all time, and we might end up seeing that right there in week number 1.
I mean, we don't know what Atlanta is, do we, by chance, to win the National Conference?
No, off the top of my head,
to win the championship, they're 14-1 currently.
I really like these guys. I'm telling you, watch out for them. And we're going to talk about the American Conference in a minute, but watch out for them.
They're going to be a prohibitive favorite to win the division.
Them in Detroit, I really believe the Lions, they had some great pickups. He's done a great job with some of the people, keeping some of the players in the organization. Watch out for the Lions.
I'm sure there's a stat in the Wike 4000 out there that what happens to the quarterbacks the year after they sign a big contract?
Well, it's about 50-50. Some of them bloom, do very well. Other ones do a Patsy Cline.
You're going to need to insert some RAM into that Wike 4000 because that was as useless analysis as I've ever heard in my life.
Hey, you look at
50-50. The sun may rise.
Well, no, let's look.
What the hell was
I'll
that?
give you 2 perfect examples. Goff.
Okay.
What has he done now?
Yeah.
Got a nice contract over there.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. Very, very well.
Well, he did good last season, but he didn't have that contract
Now,
until this season,
yeah.
right?
Cousins is going to be the key this year. Again, as far as the short, intermediate passes, the slant routes, he's tough. It's whether or not he can compete that deep out or the deep post. That's the issue with Cousins.
Yeah,
so again, it's great when you've got a Jefferson or somebody at wide receiver.
It's also great when you play in a division with the Carolina Panthers, and we'll get to them in a moment.
They have scheduled 4 FCS teams this year in college football just to try to get some wins.
It is cheaper this year to actually go to every single Carolina Panther home game and watch it live than it is to watch it on TV.
That's
But
fantastic.
you
by the way.
you can buy you can buy home tickets for every Carolina Panther game. I think the total is $672. Figure you're paying $80 a month for
And
YouTube
you
TV.
can
Yes.
sit in the stands there and have the owner of the Carolina throw beer at you.
Yes, or other adult liquids.
I like it. I like it.
Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. Nick, go ahead and start this one off.
Is there negative points?
Yes.
I'm gonna go pick them on that one too.
Very good. Randy.
Well, it's in New York, right?
Yes.
I got to give the Giants 1 or 2.
I went Giants 1.
Yep.
Only because.
And again, it's early,
Very.
so home field advantages are gonna, as far as the initial spread is going to be the determinant.
It's also Friday, May 17th.
There you go, college football.
And a
Look
few
out.
things can change between now and then. However, I really love this exercise, so we're going to keep moving on here. Not much to talk about those two right now. Speaking of not much to talk about, Carolina, the Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Carolina, I don't know. I guess we could say they improved themselves in the draft. But, Randy, Carolina Panthers at the Saints. What's your line?
I would have the Saints at a field goal.
3. Nick?
I'm gonna say the same exact thing.
It's more already. It's close to 6. It's 5.5. So
With Derek at quarterback.
Maybe.
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 Okay.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Carolina's going to be hurting. All right, excellent. Moving on. So, talking of teams that really don't have much to play for this year, the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. Come on,
they have a coach in
get aggressive here, Nick. Get aggressive.
They should have opened up the season with Carolina because one of them would get a win.
That's a point.
Bengals hosting the Patriots.
I'll go Bengals minus 6.5.
Randy.
Well, Bengals are my team to win it all in the AFC. Bengals by 8.
Okay, yeah. I told you guys to get aggressive. Not double-digit aggressive, but get aggressive. We're close. We're 9.5 already. And it definitely makes sense. Mixon or no Mixon, they're going to have to find someone else, obviously, at running back for Cincinnati, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference there.
Why didn't you, NFL presented by Taylor Swift, why didn't you schedule Carolina and New England the first game? One of them could have had a win.
Commissioner Goodell, his name is Wike, W-I-K-E, Randy. I am not responsible for any of this. Total blasphemy.
I'm assuming Taylor's taking over the Sunday night game. Singing.
They don't have that many prime. I think they only have like 5 primetime games, don't they? Chiefs?
Yes.
5.
Okay, well there you
How
go.
did the Jets get 6 though? Is it just Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, it's New York. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's all of that.
When's the last time the Jets were good?
No. Speaking of Taylor Swift and her hometown,
There we go.
the Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears. Nick, you go ahead and start off with this matchup.
I'll do the Titans minus 1.5.
I love how aggressively you swing. You're like the Gary Sheffield. Is that wow? I just dated myself there. You're like the Gary Sheffield of odds. You just swing. You close your eyes and swing as hard as you possibly can. That's fantastic.
It's either going to be a grand slam or a strike.
Randy.
Well,
Chicago and Tennessee.
This
Give me
is
a
the
line.
one that's tricky. They're going to give the Bears. Are they Bears are the favorite?
Bears are the favorite.
Because of Caleb Williams. This Bears
Not
team.
only Caleb Williams. Did you see what they did to this team in the offseason?
Well, but I mean that's why they're giving them the advantage. I actually like the Titans here in an upset by 2.
So your spread is Tennessee minus 2.
Bears are going to be favored.
Okay, bye. That's the
By
exercise.
a field goal.
Okay.
I
But
think
Tennessee's going to win by 2.
they're probably favored by 5.5.
Chicago is.
Are they?
That's like this is the big reveal. Actually, you're close. So it's in that gray area, 4.5, 5.5.
Okay.
4.5 is the current number. You've got Tennessee winning outright. You have Tennessee winning outright. Absolutely no love for a team where the season win total, Chicago Bears, 9.5. 9.5. That's called quantum leaping.
What? And again, I'm going to go all out, and I know they picked up some defensive studs to help this football team. But what I seen of Caleb Williams last year, you can't throw picks in this league, and he's going to throw a bunch.
Tons.
So he's not going to change that much in 1 year. I guarantee it.
Did they build a line? Do they still have a line they can block?
Yeah, it's
They picked
good.
up two, right?
It's good.
So you're going to deal with the speed of the NFL with a rookie quarterback and no blocking. That's a great recipe.
Well, not only that, but rookie quarterbacks tend, in the first 4 weeks,
Yeah.
they tend to not pick up victories. So both of you may have something to ride on
again,
here.
reading defenses is a key. And I just don't
And they're
think,
still at 9.5.
Yeah. I don't think that they're...
And to the over.
Yeah, just keep bending
Turn
over.
out the lights, the party's over. Okay.
Is there a no, they will not make the playoffs?
Chicago?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
What's the odds?
It's a significant plus. I could probably say 3-1
Might have to dip into my 401k.
that they don't make the playoffs. You are. What have you drank today?
I'm just saying.
Is
When-
this just
when's the-
anti-Chicago?
No,
It could be one or the other.
I think it's a little bit of both. But when's the and I know they've added some more pieces to the puzzle, but from what I saw from Chicago last season, they had a decent quarterback and they had no protection for the guy. And I haven't seen that change. So what's the difference year over year?
Or Justin Fields really is not good. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying they may have really said we've got to absolutely just jettison and cut and move on. So you've got.
When's the last time you guys saw a rookie quarterback come in and change the team for the better?
Michael Vick.
So 20 years ago, 25 years ago?
Kind of.
Well, and here's the thing. I look back to the Notre Dame game last year with Caleb. And the defensive packages that Notre Dame used, they confused him.
Yeah.
What's he going to see in the NFL?
A whole lot of that.
Wildly more complex.
So 3 interceptions could be game 1.
So you're on the Lions, you're on the Falcons, you're on the Bengals, you are off the Bears
100%. I don't.
to the tune of everything against, like under season win totals, no playoffs.
If I had to guess what the season win total should be,
Yes.
it should be 5.5.
Come on,
I-
5.5.
I just don't see it.
You understand like what kind of value you can get on alternate season win totals right now?
I'm going to be shopping. I'm going to be shopping.
Okay, let's move away from this one. We talked about Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona at Buffalo. We've got ourselves a great new chip for Kyler Murray in the tune of Marvin Harrison Jr. Plus. Is that going to be enough? Let's see exactly, Nick, what line do you make the Buffalo-Arizona game?
Well, that's a tough one. They don't play each other very often.
Nope.
And they're in Arizona?
No, this game is in Buffalo.
In
right.
Buffalo in September. When's kickoff? It's
TBD.
1:30 probably.
Perhaps.
I had to go to Buffalo, but I think it's going to be a close game. I'd say Buffalo minus 1.5.
Randy Wyke.
Buffalo by 9.
9.
They play
I am
very
telling you, the amount of arb I'm getting out of the both of you in this episode is absolutely just incredible. You've got a 1. You've got a 9. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we've come 7.
Okay.
So slightly closer to Wyke's position, but again, Nick, you are just getting
swinging.
position after position here. This is great. Next up, Houston. This is actually a replay of the season finale. Houston at Indianapolis. Colts hosting the Houston Texans. Randy, your line.
I'd have it at a pick 'em.
Okay. Nick?
I have Houston minus 2.
Ding, ding. Houston is 2. I'll take the pick. So both of you, you guys did a little bit of homework here, and you didn't even know that this was the homework.
I didn't know.
Houston, one of the very few road favorites in week number 1. So good job there. Next up, Las Vegas at the LA Chargers. Chargers hosting the Vegas Raiders. Nick, the line.
Do the Chargers minus 2.5.
Okay. Randy?
I think the Raiders are trying to get Kenny Stabler back, and the Chargers are trying to get Dan Fouts or John Hadle. I'm not sure if they can get any of those guys out of retirement, but
Those guys used to play football? Or?
they did. Yeah. Back in my day when we only had one
Oh, leather helmets?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not
helmets.
quite that far. I know Harbaugh's going to do a great job with this team.
Look, we did it in the Niners. I mean, as a diehard Niners fan, from about 97 till when he came on, we had nothing.
But I'm going to tell you, Antonio Pierce could be the surprise in the NFL as far as in the coaching ranks. I love his energy. You talk about Detroit Lions coach and Antonio Pierce. There's no way the Raiders will be favored in this game being in L.A., but the Raiders win by a field goal. And remember, if you look back at the last 20, 21 games between the Chargers and Raiders, most of them go down to a field goal game,
and
either side.
And how many times have you seen the Raiders in a field goal game find a way to lose it?
It's going to be a field goal game. I do like the upset here a little bit.
The Chargers, a 3-point favorite.
Perfect.
It's like you literally just wrote it, and it's exactly what the spread is. Washington, the Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How about a line, Nick?
I'll do Tampa Bay minus 4.5.
Okay. Randy?
I got Tampa Bay by 4.
Guys nailed it. You guys are getting better as we move forward here. It's right on the number. Excellent job right there. Obviously, look, Washington, plenty of work needs to be done there, but they've got themselves their franchise quarterback. That's what you got to do in this league. You either have a quarterback or you don't, and I guess we'll find out with Washington probably by week 10, week 11.
See, to me, that's the big thing this year. If you look at Caleb Williams and you look at May and you look at some of the great talent that came up, because you had, 6 picks in the first round quarterbacks, it'll be interesting to see if 50% of them have a successful season.
Season or career?
No, season. Because this first season, with the different schemes and the reads and what have you, like you said, or you had said, it's a lot tougher those first 3 or 4 ball games to really get them. And how much are you going to play during this?
No, Penix probably won't at all.
Yeah. So.
Fair enough. 3 more games on Sunday, gentlemen. The Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks. Randy, you first.
Well, I got to see. In fact, I just looked at this game last night. When you look at opening games playing in Seattle, it will be rocking. So to me, it's not even a 3-point spread. It's a 4-point spread. I have Seahawks by 4.
Okay. Nick?
I do Seahawks minus 6.5.
Okay. That's very good. Actually, I landed it right around 5.5. Was where I wanted to open it. So, Randy, you're right there. Maybe a little bit of a key number, but I think, obviously Denver's going to have an awful lot of answers, off of what they've done come preseason. So right now, again, May 17, we're breaking it down here with just a few more to go. The Dallas at Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns, the hosts for the Dallas Cowboys. Randy, I'll let you go first here.
Well, this Cowboys team is in disarray. I love the Cowboys. This year's going to be a Patsy Cline. I mean, again, Jerry Jones needs to stay out of the day-to-day operation.
Right. Is there a Cowboys fan that's not saying this is our year?
Well, if they are,
I feel
turn out the lights. And this came from Don Meredith, by the way. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Burgess Meredith, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He literally walked into the meme. The NFL schedule is released.
Yeah.
And officially, the Dallas Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Exactly. I saw it this morning.
And you know what? I love Micah Parsons. But he's becoming like, we don't want to talk politics. He's become Donald Trump. He does not need to be on Facebook. He does not need to be talking. Play the game.
What's your line?
I'm going to do Cleveland minus 3.5.
You have real significant positions, Nick. I really can't wait to see your tickets one way or another. Dallas comes 1-point favorite on the road in Cleveland. Only because it's early. Give it time.
I think there's more psychology than numbers on that line, but
now I don't know what they plan to do for the Sunday evening primetime game, but based off of rotation numbers, the last Sunday game, at least that we're talking about, are the LA Rams at the Detroit Lions. Nick, what's your line here?
I think that's going to be a pick 'em.
Okay. Randy?
Lions won.
This one's heavy. Lions 3.5 already. So, again, it just based off of where you feel the line should be versus what's actually posted now at the book at Baldini's.
I'm not
positions.
sold on that one.
Positions.
Is there any historical data we can look at, when quarterbacks that have played for a franchise meet up against each other? I mean, defenses, it's got to be an under game, right? You would assume, because your defense pretty much knows what your quarterback's tendencies are.
Well, we haven't talked about totals, but I have a total. Where do you think that the total would land?
42.
For the Ram game?
For the Rams and Lions.
No. I would think 47.
We posted 51.
Under.
Really high. By the way,
I
mean, everybody
I'm
bets
thinking
the
about
over, so I mean, it's probably from
I
a
was
bookmaker
thinking,
perspective.
24, 23, 26, 21, somewhere in that ballpark.
By the way, I think Jared Goff is going to be playing indoors for like the first 9 weeks.
Watch out. Watch out.
Actually, I think Randy's onto something here. Last game Monday night. New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. Nick, give me something to write home about here.
Is there a prop where Aaron Rodgers play the full game?
I will book that.
I'm just saying. What happened
I will
last
book
Monday
that on
night
this
opener? In Aaron Rodgers' history, how many times has he beaten the 49ers? I don't think there's been once. I'm sure there has, but I know definitely when it comes to the playoffs. So I'm going to say, we go a little conservative. Niners minus 6.5.
Wow.
Conservative. A conservative 6.5.
Yeah, it should be double digits.
Team's literally intact. No one's moved away. They've only improved. They've only added. Obviously, Jets are looking forward to actually having a season with everything that they've put their basket into.
How old is Rodgers now? He's got to be 43.
He's up there with John Hadel and Dan Fouts.
Help me, please. Help me just get across this finish line today, please. Randy, your line on the Jets San Francisco game.
I have this one at 27-23. Niners.
Okay, math. So 4. 6. Excellent job, gentlemen.
Like my conservative number?
It was. I did notice that. Yeah, I kind of put a circle around the word conservative. I know, obviously, where your fandom lies, and that's okay. Everyone's got a fandom someplace.
I did see a report, and I don't know if it's complete BS or not, but are the Niners favored in every game next year?
That's a great point. I have to take a look. I think that they are. Matter of fact, and I think Carolina, and it's the inverse of it. I think Carolina is a dog in every single game as well. So,
well, and here's the thing again, you got to look at, guys, and I really believe this. When you look at the early part of the season, which first half of the season, I think more so in 2024, is going to be critical to whether a team makes the playoffs. We see how tight it was down to the wire with a few teams last year. But teams that have, again, as you just mentioned, the nucleus of everybody coming back. So obviously they're going to have a head start getting into camps.
Yep.
And when you look at now Burrow coming back for the Bengals, and if he's healthy with the team that they have, and I love their wideouts, I love the tight end. This team is scary, very scary. And you talk about the Ravens, you got to still say, is Lamar ready for that next move? And then obviously Mahomes. The Chiefs, the one thing the Chiefs still, to me, the wide receiver outcome of what they're going to do. And they're older on the offense and defense. That's a critical point.
I love this. All of this, and Kansas City still saying, by the way, hold my beer as they run into the season. Well, Randy, Nick, thanks again for coming on board and joining in the fun of this episode. I can't end the episode without, at the very least, I know we talked about it, early as just the playoffs began. And Nick, just a quick, super top level. Celtics are awaiting the results of the Knicks and Pacers. Denver Nuggets completely on the ropes after getting completely blown out in the first half last night in Minnesota. And then they decided to just let it rip and just say, okay, let's rest up for Game 7 here.
Did I see they scored 9 points? Like single digits?
No, they literally
9 points
said,
in the
what,
fourth
let's just forget about what's happening here and get ready for game number 7. Do we still predict a Celtics-Nuggets final here? Nick?
Yes.
Okay, Randy.
I got Celtics. I'm not sold on Jamal Murray right now in Denver. His playoff run is, and this is going to hurt this team as it gets to the gritty.
Okay.
The West is tough. I really do believe you got to like Minnesota. If these guys can really get up there and play, I don't think the Nuggets do it.
Okay. 1 yes and 1 no. I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. Thank you again for listening
wait a minute,
in.
though, Rob, I got to bring this up. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you look at MLB. They're on pace for an all-time record, most blown leads after the 5th inning. What does this tell you about the bullpens of Major League Baseball? If you've got an arm, try to get a little scheduled practice time. You may be playing in Major League Baseball.
Your mileage may vary on that statistic. I would definitely investigate that if I were you. Thanks again for listening in. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to like and subscribe. For Randy Wyke and Nick Schulte, I'm
NFL
Robert Kowalski.
presented by Taylor Swift. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the Bookie and the Bettors Show. New episodes post every Thursday on your favorite streaming service.